welcome to today's video. This will be a review on this guy right over here. This is the Natasha Denona Peak Palette. If you want to see my review and how I got this little look, then keep on watching. Alright you guys, so let's get right on into this review. First, I'm just going to be doing my face really quick. We're going to kind of zoom through this portion because I really want to focus on the review today. So for primer, we're going to go in with the NYX Do You Up Liquid Primer. And for foundation today, we're going to go with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. And I'm in shade 203 Nude Beige. To conceal, we're going to go on with one of my favorites. This is a Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in shade 15 Light. Now we're going to set it all into place with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. For this, we're going to be using our Luxie Precision Foundation Brush. Now to set the rest of our face, we're going to go in with this iLux Cosmetics Fluffy Powder Brush. Just set the rest of my face and kind of forget it. Alright, so the reason that you really clicked on this video is to watch my review on the Natasha Denona Peak Palette. This palette is gorgeous, guys. Like, these colors, like, do you see that? Pause your video. Okay, you saw that, right? These colors are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I love them. They are very versatile. I feel like you can make so many different looks with this. It's ridiculous. You can make this an everyday palette, a night out palette, a glam palette, a chill palette, or whatever palette. It could literally be 15 million different things. So right off the bat, I love the color scheme. Even though it's within the naturals, I still really love the color scheme. Next, we're gonna talk about some packaging. I really like how this is one slim piece of plastic, okay? It's not raised or anything, it's just one piece of plastic. It is clear and it has the little Natasha Denona label right over here. Super sleek, very nice and simple. And then on the back, you're gonna have the nude packaging and you're gonna have all of the information on the back. So up here, you're gonna have the name of the palette, which is the Peak Palette, and then you're gonna have the 5 different name shades with their color codes, I'm gonna say. So the only downside to this packaging that I'm kind of seeing is that I have to turn around the palette to see the names of the shades that I'm using. Now, it's not a really big deal for me, but it would be much more convenient if they were just labeled right under the shades here. It does have a nice little shut. I can make a dramatic shot with that. I like that. Other than that, let's just actually test it out. I really want to go ahead and use every single shade. So I came with a little look that I think will use every single shade so we can actually really test each shadow and really see what this palette's about. Now, I know a lot of other people did get this palette in their boxy charm. I personally haven't read any reviews because I didn't want to change my opinion about it at all, and I have not swatched it either. So this is really a first impressions review on this palette. Guys, so I'm gonna go in with this shade right over here called Amara, and I'm gonna be using the Moda crease brush. And no kickback, which is good. And we're gonna put that in a crease to start off. I think I'm gonna zoom a little bit more in for this one. Maybe like that. Is this weird? Is this too close? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna put it in my crease now. Okay. Not bad. Let's do a second dip. Okay. Initially, I mean, it's not amazing. I'm not like astonished or anything, but I'm also not disappointed. I would say this shade is pretty average. Woo! I'm gonna keep that a little higher. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now we're gonna hop in onto this shade right over here called Jasper, and I'm gonna be using a Moda pencil brush to kind of, ooh, that's a kickback there. There's that. I mean, I personally don't mind that, but if you do, keep that in mind for sure. I'm gonna try to keep this shade closer to the actual crease, and we'll blend it out to marry it with the light pink that I put down just now in a little bit. I just want to mainly get this down. Yeah, lots of kickback, but not too bad, but really good color payoff though. So usually when that has so much color payoff, there's some kickback that's expected. Personally, I don't mind, but if you do, okay, it's on you, boo-boo. This brush with no additional product and just blend that out. And it blends, honestly, beautifully. Like, I really didn't put in that much effort. And, like, look at the difference. This is not blended and blended. Alright, so I didn't have to do too much excessive blending. I think it was pretty regular with some other palettes that I use blending wise. Now, I feel so weird when it's zoomed in this much, guys, but just trying to give you a realistic review here. Go in with the middle shade right over here called Thorn. And I'm gonna clean off my pencil brush and I'm gonna dip on into this product, this one here. And again, some kickback in the pan, but nothing that bothers me honestly too much. And I'm gonna keep that just in the end here. Ooh, this is pretty. This is like a perfect like coffee color. Yeah, this is really nice, guys. So I'm just really getting that in here, and as I'm packing it on my eyes, there's no fallout, so it seems to just be happening on the pan and not on the actual eye, which is good. And I'm not going to take any additional product, but I'm just going to kind of zhuzh these two together, keeping it in the crease. And then I'm going to go back in with the original brush, because this one is a little bit more stiff. I'm going to go in and use my original brush and blend all of this together. But I'm not gonna go too much into this area here. I'm just gonna kind of keep the brush just slightly above my crease. Just kind of zhuzh it all. I take my Maybelline concealer that I used on my face and a very flat concealer brush, and I'm just gonna do a half cut crease really quickly. I'm not gonna set it, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna take my finger and this shade right over here called Shine, which is really, really pretty. And I'm gonna, ooh, this feels nice. This is nice and buttery, guys. Okay, this is really pretty. Oh my god, okay. I think it's gonna look really nice. And I'm going to zoom on in again. I'm going to, ooh. And I'm just gonna place this on the inner portion where my crease is cut. I'm gonna dip back in. And I'm gonna go ahead with a second layer to get a little more oomph. And I'm gonna take the original brush again with no extra product and just blend together the shimmer with the brown. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm just gonna kind of clean up this edge here to make it a little less round. Now we're gonna test out the last shade. This guy, which is like a nice bone white, called Aya or Aya. You take a regular packing brush and just kind of tap. There's not really any fallout on this shade at all, which is even tapping off, nothing really came off. And I'm just gonna kind of clean up the brow area. And then I know you guys are like, what are you doing? But take the original brush again and just do that. Then we're gonna do inner corner to brighten it up. Almost doing like an inner corner highlight, but with a matte shade. Okay, I like that. This look is turning out nice, I like. So we're gonna go back into this original pink shade that we used here. And I'm gonna go in with my M156 brush, but first I'm gonna use the larger side to buff in a pink base. And then we're gonna go ahead and add the brown, I think, maybe. Haven't decided yet. Okay, so some fallout on this eye with the pink. I'm gonna take the smaller side and I'm gonna go in with this shade the tiniest bit, just on the outer corner. So I think I'm gonna kind of stop off here because I'm kind of feeling this like warm, natural glam kind of vibe that we've got going on. So I'm just gonna add some liner, lashes, and come right back. And we're gonna move on to bronzer, and for today I'm gonna use one of my favorites, this Ace Beauté Bronzed in Paradise palette, alongside this complexion brush from Alamar Cosmetics. And we're gonna go ahead with this second shade right over here and just kind of warm it up. And now we're gonna be moving on to the Ciate London Marble Light blush in shade Dusk. For my personal favorite part of any makeup look, we're gonna throw in some highlight, and this is the J-Cat Beauty Liquid Highlight in the shade White Goddess. And last but not very least, we're gonna go in with some lipstick. We're gonna be going with the Cake Beauty Liquid Lipstick in shade Low Key. Boom, boys and gals, that is it for today's review. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and see my real thoughts on this Natasha Denona Peak palette. So number one, the packaging, I love it, except for the fact that the shade names are on the back of the palette. That is my only downfall for the packaging. Number two, let's talk about these shadows, shall we? This shadow and this shadow right over here did have quite a bit of kickback in the pan, but not too much on the eye. As long as I tapped off the excess, I didn't see too much of a fallout on the eye or too much of anything happening, so I'm really not mad about it. Let's be real, it's totally fine with me, but if you are really about kickback, then keep that in mind. But I do like the shimmer shadow on this palette as well, but it's not super bright and foily as I kind of expected, to be fully honest, but I'm still happy with this result. I'm happy with the payoff, with the evenness and the consistency of it. I really do like the way that it wears and the way that it just glides on the eye. Overall, would I recommend this palette? Yes, I would definitely recommend this palette, you guys. So to my knowledge, this palette does retail for 48 Canadian dollars, which for me, honestly, is extremely
overpriced.
5 shadows, I'm not trying to pay almost $50 with taxes. I'm just not, let's be real. Maybe for 10 or more, but not for just 5. That's just my personal opinion. But the quality did match up to average, honestly. I'm not saying it's not good, I'm not saying it's not bad. All I'm saying is that it was pretty average to me. This did not feel luxury, other than kind of the closure of the palette. Everything felt pretty regular schmegular to me, not gonna lie. So, would I recommend it? Yes. Would I want to find a dupe and recommend you the dupe?
Absolutely.
So guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, for coming and hanging out with me to know my opinion about this palette. It's always a good time, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.